There's a lot of coverage today of the reported death of a woman from Britain. Sally Ann Jones was born 48 years ago in Chatham in Kent. She became a mother to a son and in 2013 travelled to Syria, where she joined the militant group Islamic State. Today's Sun reported that Sally Ann Jones was killed in a US drone strike. Whitehall sources have confirmed those reports to BBC News. Charlie Winter is from the International Centre for the Study of Radicalisation and Political Violence.
Sally Jones was a female member of the Islamic State. She liked to be known as Hussein al-Britannia. She married Junaid Hussein, another British member of the Islamic State. She joined him in Syria in 2013. And she used to be very antagonistic and became very notorious because of what she used to do on Twitter. She spent a lot of time openly antagonizing people, occasionally speaking privately about how to perhaps carry out attacks. There's a lot of mystique and rumours surrounding her, but actually precious little to go on in terms of things that we absolutely know for sure. So what's clear is that she was important to the Islamic State, whether that was in operations planning, whether it was in recruiting or information security, something like that, because of course she was a hacker. We don't know exactly what it is that she did. The Islamic State is a very opaque organisation, but what we do know is that earlier this year the Pentagon classified her as a high priority target for the US military. And you don't just get classified a high priority target by the US military simply for putting out a few tweets. Clearly she was doing something more important than that.
What do you think that might have been? You talked about her hacking skills. Clearly or it seems pretty clear that she was very good with technology.
Yeah, so along with Junaid Hussein, her husband, until he died in 2015, she and he were both very good at using computers. They had this thing called Team Poison, which is like a hacking group that they used to do bits and pieces on. Now, regarding exactly what she did, a lot has been made of the Islamic State's ability to engage in cyber terrorism and all that stuff. But again, I think that there's probably more excitement than is necessary in that department. I don't think in terms of offensive cyber operations the Islamic State has been very effective. However, it has been very effective in terms of defensive cyber operations. And my speculation right now, my hypothesis about what Sally Jones was doing for the group that made her this quote-unquote high priority to the Pentagon is that she was engaged in the information security side of things. So keeping the Islamic State the opaque organization that it is, helping its users, because of course it is still very active online even today, not on Twitter and Facebook, but on things like Telegram, keeping that side of the operation going smoothly.
Do you play down then the idea that Sally Jones was an effective tool at recruiting people to the group Islamic State, particularly women?
I think symbolically, she was very important. I think as an aspirational figure for would-be supporters or members of the Islamic State, they looked up to her as someone who was world famous, someone who could anger the enemies of the Islamic State simply by putting out a few tweets every day or so, someone who was arrogantly against the West and also had kind of epitomized the redemption, that the perceived redemption that one can experience if they join the Islamic State. We know she engaged with individuals on Twitter and over direct messages, that kind of thing. And perhaps there was logistical advice that was provided there. But in terms of someone that really delivered the whole recruitment experience, that someone that brought someone from not being a radicalized individual at all to the point that they were willing to go to join the Islamic State in Syria, I feel like perhaps there has been some exaggeration there.
If your analysis of her cyber skills is right, should we assume then that the group Islamic State's ability to keep all of its cyber secrets secure has been to some degree diminished with her death?
Only if my speculation is correct, but the coalition has been targeting these individuals for a long time now, and it's very aware of the potential treasure trove of information that could be accessed. And there were activists, for example, in Syria last year who were reporting that the head of encrypted communications for the Iraqi leaders of the Islamic State had been killed. And that was in the run-up to Mosul. So again, whether or not that's true is another thing. But what's clear is that there is some targeting of encryptors of the information security experts of the Islamic State taking place.
That's Charlie Winter from the International Centre for the Study of Radicalisation and Political Violence.